Is stress ruining your gut? How many times have you heard, don't stress, don't stress? It's making you sick. But did you know it's really, really destroying your gut? So in this video, we're going to talk about what stress is and how it's affecting your gut, and then what you can do to combat it. My name is Denise, and this is Spa Life TV, where we learn together how to live a healthy life in a fun and pretty relaxing, simple way. So today we're going to talk about stress, what it is, and I think the best place to start is to share with you how it affected me. So I always knew that stress was a big deal, right? Like, you're not supposed to stress, that it makes you sick, and it gives you headaches, and it messes up your hormones, all these things. But I didn't understand truly the effects of stress had. So I've lived my life a pretty high-strung person, and it was always go, go, go. I would be reading 8 books at the same time, studying this course, taking this class, and then when it came to raising a family, well, I was Superwoman. I was homeschooling 4 kids, helping my husband build a business, running my father's company and his concrete company, and so I was juggling many different things. And of course, I had to make it look like I had it all together. So all that going, I didn't realize how much stress I was under, because there's bad stress, the kind that we're familiar with, you know, traffic and bills and that kind of stuff. And then there's good stress, which they call eustress, good stress. And that's like, you know, when you're preparing for a vacation, or you're nervous about something, or, you know, you've got a lot going on, but it's exciting, or it's just part of life. That's stress too. Even working out, very intense workouts, can be a stress on the body. So you want to learn how to balance that out. But your body can't tell the difference between good stress and bad stress. It just recognizes it as stress, and it affects your body the same way. So I didn't realize what I was doing. I started to have digestive problems, and what was I feeling? A lot of bloating. I've always had like a pooch. I've been a thin person most of my life, and I just had a pooch. Everything I didn't seem to get rid of that pooch. And then my digestion started to change. I would eat foods, and it would cause a burning sensation, or a bloating, or discomfort, or make me very fatigued. I started having all these symptoms. So what did I do? Of course, let me just cut out gluten, or take this supplement, or do this. But I never got to figure out what the root cause was. And what it was is that I actually had an ulcer. And that ulcer so it was I was positive for H. pylori bacteria, and I got an ulcer. And what my body did to protect me from that ulcer is it created a tumor. Yeah. And that tumor became cancerous. And so I had gastric lymphoma around that tumor. So I was doing all the things, and I just got sicker and sicker, until finally my stomach actually ruptured. And then I was in the hospital for 51 days, and I almost lost my life. And I didn't realize that it was stress. So how does stress work? I'm going to give you the simple version of stress. Stress is something outside of you. It is a stimulus, like, yes, it's traffic, but did you ever notice that some people are totally fine in traffic? And then other people are stressed about working out, and then some people are not stressed about working out. So how we respond to the external stimulus, which is stress, really it's your reaction to stress and how it affects your body. So let's pretend that you are being chased by a lion. And what's going to happen? Blood is going to rush to the external muscles, like, you know, your glutes and your legs, and because you got to run fast. What else is going to happen? Well, you got to see wide. You got to see where you're running. So your pupils are going to dilate, and your lungs are going to expand so that you can get deep breaths. But guess what you don't need? You don't need to digest food at that moment when you're running from a lion. You don't need to digest food. So what's going to happen? Your digestion is going to shut down. Your gut is going to shut down. And what else is going to happen? You don't need to be making babies, so your reproductive system is going to shut down. The urine in your body is just carrying too much weight, so you might just like pee your pants or become incontinent because of the stress. These are the natural things that are happening in your body. Your heart rate is going to increase. Your blood pressure is going to increase as the body is trying to push blood to bigger muscles and things that you need to fight, right? That's what stress is. When you're over 40, so many of these systems take longer to recover. So when you're being chased by this lion and all these things are happening to your body, your digestive shuts down, your reproductive system shuts down, your hormones essentially shut down, your body is going to release a bunch of sugar because you have stored sugar in the liver, and your liver is going to release all that sugar into your bloodstream. So your blood sugar is going to increase because you need that energy so you can run from the lion in case you got to fight, right? The blood is going to be shunted away from parts of your brain because you're only going to get blood to the parts of your brain that you need to fight or to run or to freeze. So that's what's going to happen. But when you're over 40, it takes so much longer to recover because when the lion stops chasing you, essentially your body's supposed to go back to normal. But we're not doing that. And when you're over 40, it just seems like it's taking so much longer. So if you were in traffic in the morning and it took longer to recover, and then you hit traffic on the way home, there might have been like no recovery period. So essentially it was all stress. And that means your body is in this, what we call fight or flight or stress mode, or it's also called the sympathetic mode. So it's like a light switch. You just turned on the sympathetic mode. That's what stress is, and that's how it's affecting your body. So essentially, we're turning on the sympathetic system, which shuts down your gut. And if you don't turn that gut back on, and yet you go eat lunch, how are you going to digest? And if you don't digest, how are the nutrients in that food going to go to all your organs? And over time, these organs are not as healthy as they could be. So you see, stress itself is an external stimuli. It's how you respond to stress is what is destroying your gut. And yes, it's destroying other organs, but the reason I want to point out the gut is that because the gut is the operating center of your body. And we know that with stress, the gut digestion will shut down. And yet we're eating lunch, we're trying to assimilate the nutrients, we're trying to fight off bacteria and viruses and pathogens that come into the digestive system. Stress will release chemicals like cortisol. And that cortisol, I always say it's like pouring acid on your gut. It's a chemical that it's very important. We need it when we're running from lions and tigers and bears, but it's not so great on your gut on a long-term basis. You need to recover. After a stressful episode, you need to recover so that you can get into what is the opposite of stress, which is relaxation mode. We call it relaxation, we call it rest and digest mode, or it's also called the parasympathetic mode. And that's really important. It's the sympathetic mode or the parasympathetic mode. Now here's the secret. You have to be in a parasympathetic system or mode to heal. You have to be in a parasympathetic mode to heal. Because when you're in the parasympathetic mode, your digestion is working well, you feel more vibrant, you feel happier, your mood is better because your brain chemicals are made in your gut. And so when your gut is working, you're making better hormones, better brain chemicals, your immune system is doing what it's supposed to do, and you just feel more centered, more grounded, and more stable. And that, my friends, is why we've created Spa Life TV. You see, I couldn't explain to my clients how to stay in this parasympathetic mode while they were in this stress mode. I mean, even right now, if I'm trying to tell you, this stress mode, you don't even know when you're in it. When I was sick or when I was stressed, I didn't know that I was in this sympathetic mode because I was happy. I had my kids. I had all these things to do. I was busy, busy, busy. I didn't know that I was giving myself an ulcer. And I didn't know how to be in the parasympathetic mode. And so that's why I created Spa Life TV, because I wanted people to experience. And so that leads us into what can you do? How can you combat it to heal your gut? This is very important that you need to be in the parasympathetic mode to be able to heal your gut. And it literally is like flipping a light switch. If you have the light switch on to the sympathetic mode, which is stress, or the parasympathetic mode, which is rest and digest, where everything works effectively. So imagine when you're at a spa. What do you feel? No one has to force you or tell you, hey, you should breathe deeper, or you should think happy thoughts, or you should smell great scents. It just is, right? You walk in there, you smell the essential oils, you hear maybe birds, maybe you hear wind chimes, maybe they have meditation music on. You just all of a sudden feel calm. All of a sudden, your stresses don't seem so serious. You don't seem that overwhelmed anymore. That's the parasympathetic mode. The Spa Life is the parasympathetic mode. And I want to teach you how to do that at home, while you're in the car, when something gets stressful. How can you turn that switch onto the parasympathetic mode? Think about your senses, your 5 senses. So when you're in your home or when you're in your car or when you're in your office, wherever you're at, first become aware of your senses. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you see? What do you taste? And what are you touching? You could touch a tree or grass or sand or hug someone. What are you touching? So think about your 5 senses. That's what they're doing in the spa. They're activating those 5 senses. So how can we live in this world and not let it destroy our health? We're going to stop and we're going to become aware of our 5 senses. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you taste? And what can you touch? So the next thing you can do to turn on the parasympathetic mode is to literally step away for a moment. Sometimes you need to change your environment so you don't get stuck in that pattern. Sometimes you need to just go for a walk, step outside, ideally get near nature, ideally get somewhere and look out into the horizons, because when you look wide as opposed to looking at your cell phone or focusing on a paper or something, when you look wide, that opens up your parasympathetic mode. Isn't that so cool? These are the kind of tricks that you can do to just literally switch on that switch. So walk away, step outside, look far into the distance, into the sky or somewhere far, so you can activate that parasympathetic mode. And then finally, it's so important that you focus on healing your gut and healing those adrenal glands so that your body, because let's face it, if we're talking about stress, then there's a good chance that our body is not recovering from stress very well. And we want to train our body how to do that. And so I'm excited about making more videos on teaching you how to recover from a stressful situation or how to get into that parasympathetic mode. But right now, it's so important that you focus on healing your gut. Just follow me on this channel because we are going to talk about gut, because it is, to me, it's the most important thing to focus on. So there you have it, my friends. That's how stress is messing with your gut and what you can do about it. So I look forward to seeing you on our next video.